All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of the Math Rock Review.
Episode 2,
Deep dive into American Dawn by the notorious, infamous, treacherous, death-defying Don Caballero.
Pittsburgh's finest, Don Caballero.
Or how my kin would say it would be Don Caballero.
What is Don Caballero? Is that a word?
I have
Caballero?
no idea.
Dude, I'm gonna look it up right now. Caballero. It's gotta be a word. It's a Spanish word for a Spanish or Mexican gentleman.
Ah, okay.
So it's actually just kind of like the same word twice, like
nice.
Don. Yeah, just like master gentleman.
Yes. I'm
gonna be honest.
Really nice pretend vibes from this first little section. It's very twinkly. It's very nice.
Yeah. I listened to this album all the way through for the first time today. Okay. I'd always heard a few songs, but I'd never actually listened to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And one of the notes I wrote down was okay, I can see pretend in this.
Mm-hmm.
This part kind of reminds me of Alarmist.
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah.
It's
or maybe
very,
Enemies.
The grooves are very layered in this section. So Damon Chi is the drummer. And he just goes so hard. And a lot of the reviews I was kind of reading over and different things for this album were just, mostly attesting the intricate riffs and all of the energy to Damon Chi's drumming style, and it's very, very drum heavy. He seems prolific in his drum style for sure.
Yeah, that's where you get that pretend vibe. It's the same thing with pretend. It's driven by the drums. Who else did he play for? Apparently he has YouTube videos. Apparently he's still pretty active.
Okay.
He's also apparently known for his erratic and unpredictable behavior.
Aren't we all?
Says. Yeah, aren't we all?
Oh yeah, that drum sound is great.
I like whatever. I guess it's probably a piano that just that twinkle. I think this was probably my favorite song on the album. Did you know the guitarist for this band was in Battles?
I did not.
Yeah, he's the guy in Battles.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. But I feel like this is just so much more chill, a chill version of that. So this album was actually recorded by Steve Albini.
Oh.
So this is what that iconic room must have sounded like.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
It sounds great.
I guess that makes sense that Steve Albini recorded it.
The group's original lineup consisted of Damon Chi, Mike Banfield, and Pat Morris. Its members originally intended to draft a singer to join the group. However, their early rehearsals generated such interest that the trio was offered paying gigs and decided to remain instrumental.
I mean, that makes sense. What the fuck would you sing over this? I mean, I guess you could.
It's very similar to music like Battles and Alarmist, though, where the grooves are so layered that you really don't want to break up that tension that it's building. And I feel like Don Cab is, from what I'm hearing, is already very, very good at building this tension and building on these cadences and letting it rock for a while, It's really
they use a lot of
interesting.
droning. I don't know if it says this on the wiki, but on their Spotify description, It says everything in this album was meticulously structured. No matter how chaotic it seemed, everything was like written out. There's like very little improvisation on this record, which I actually find kind of interesting because it does sound like I think Pretend but I think Pretend does like improv sometimes.
But I don't think Pretend had use of a loop pedal. And specifically here it says they played through Kai Headresh pedals that allowed them to loop and layer their parts because a band member left.
Gotcha.
And they wanted to fill that like instrumental gap.
That makes sense.
Almost like Alpha Male Tea Party in a way, and like Race to Your Face. I'm thinking of duos, but yeah. A lot of duos use loop pedals and stuff, layered grooves and stuff like that.
Girlfriends.
Yeah, Girlfriends especially, for sure. Chi's energetic and unconventional style of drumming was often praised and earned him the informal title of the Octopus due to the wild flailing of his arms while playing. Critic Steve Huey wrote that it was Chi's manic explosions and stomp on the dime shifts in time signature that mapped out the trail his bandmates followed. So he really was pivotal in writing those time signature switches and layered grooves and different things on there. That's really interesting. I wonder if that's how Toe writes music. If they let their drummer like do so, because it often starts with like a cool drum thing and then they like go into it. So I wonder if that's like similar to how Toe writes their music.
Yeah, there's like a whole genre of math rock or subgenre of math rock that's like it's like structured under like repetitive sort of droning rhythms, kind of like Don Cab, Pretend, Toe, and then sort of like the drums are like the like guiding force of the thing that like
almost like the melody to follow along with. So I believe this album is their fourth album, I believe. So it says there was their debut album with Steve Albini. That's when they signed a deal to Chicago-based label Touch and Go Records. 1993, they put out For Respect. The bass player left to form a band, Six Horse. And then throughout 1994 and 1995, a number of Pittsburgh area musicians filled the bass slot in Don Cab. In 1995, the band released its second LP, Don Caballero 2. The liner notes of the album's promotional CD stated that Don Caballero is rock, not jazz. Don Caballero is free of solos. Apparently, they were trying to make a statement in 1995.
Is it rock?
Is it jazz?
Or is it jazz?
That's what the people were debating.
Yeah. I don't think it's jazz. I don't think it's free. I mean, they said there's not even like improvisation.
Yeah.
Or there's not a lot. The emphasis isn't.
Yeah, I don't think there's a question
is, like,
there.
Focused on that.
I don't think there's a question.
That makes me wonder if Monobody. Do you think Monobody improvises anything?
No.
No, you think it's all like structured?
For the most part, like 95% of it, yeah.
So, is Monobody jazz?
Probably not. Probably not. If anything, I would say it's not. It's definitely not what you would call jazz fusion either, because you think like solos and stuff, but all of their stuff is very written and structured, and that's why it falls under the math rock umbrella. So it's interesting that they're doing jazz under the math rock guise almost, but it's all like written. Yeah. That's what it sounds like.
I mean, I would say they're probably the jazziest math rock band. for sure. At least that exists right now.
I would say either Mono Buddy or Suffer Like G Did is probably the jazziest. Because, like, Suffer Like G Did has this, like, really interesting, like, only chord bass, jazz chord bass, like, melodies and stuff like that. So,
right.
Yeah.
Or Father Figure.
Oh, man. Father Figure is just a little too heavy, I think.
I just mean, like, jazziness. Not, like, actually being jazz, but, like, the jazziest sort of math rock band.
I guess it would be like a far third below Suffer Like G Did and Mono Buddy than like Father Figure right there. I know like everything sounds like a solo or guitar solo or something like that, but that's all written as well. You know that's all like composed.
Yeah. So this is like Bulletproof Tiger to me.
Oh, with the wide pan tapping.
Yeah.
I definitely hear that.
Yeah.
It's like if the Bulletproof Tiger used a loop pedal, because like they're so sporadic, that like if the Bulletproof Tiger used a loop pedal, they would kind of have to stick to a certain groove, and I feel like that's what this would sound like. I'll be probably a little sped up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking about this, especially because I've only listened to this full album once, and we're doing it twice now. And it is like one of the original like math rock albums that influenced a lot. It came out. It's like this, American Football, and like what, Slint.
Back then, man, you're talking. This Town Needs Guns was early 2000s as well.
Yeah, that was like 2008. I think Animals came out in 2008. So it was like this and like American Football. So I'm thinking like, what were those early math rock dudes listening to? Definitely Don Cab.
Yeah, and there was also like jazz fusion groups that people got a lot of like odd time inspiration. There was
Stratosphere.
No. I don't know how to say the name. It's something orchestra.
Something orchestra.
Yeah.
Are they a math rock band? They're a jazz band.
Or they're like a jazz fusion band, kind of. It starts with an M.
Mahavishnu?
Yeah, that one.
Mahavishnu Orchestra?
Yeah. I know for a fact they were listening to that too.
I've never heard of this band before.
I've listened to a few of their songs. I just couldn't remember how to say their name.
Yeah.
It's very good. It is very mathy, but it is very much like an experimental fusion kind of like blend of a lot of genres. And it's weird. I don't know if I should use the term fusion for when people blend genres. Like it's just so hard to describe something that is so unique in like its stylization and inspiration,
Right.
Yeah. It's hard not to say like Mono Buddy is they're not like fusing genres with math rock and jazz, It's like that's kind of like what they're doing, but it's not jazz fusion. It's not like what jazz fusion was, or like what people know it to be. It's like this new form of fusion that has splintered off from math rock and not jazz, but it's now incorporating jazz into it. It's like a math rock fusion. not really a jazz fusion.
Yeah, it's just math rock with like jazz fusion influence.
Yeah.
This is a cool song. I remember liking this one too.
Polvo is the other band. Polvo they formed in 1990. They're another like cornerstone math rock band. So if we get a chance, we should probably listen through some of Polvo's albums.
Polvo. I have never heard of Polvo. I just looked them up. There's an article from 2008 called "What is Math Rock? Catch Polvo and find out."
Hell yeah, that's awesome. And so I wonder if this is one of those early bands that called themselves math rock or didn't, because Don Cab is actually one of those bands that did not like to be called math rock.
Huh.
And there's so very much math rock, right?
Yeah.
Are they math rock?
I mean, this is like
sure,
classic.
right? Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah. This is like 100% math rock. Like, what else? I mean, they call themselves rock, not jazz, but like...
Yeah, I mean,
this
it's
isn't
layered
rock.
grooves over like a 4/4, you know, with some changes here and there, time signature stuff when they stop the loops and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, this riff right here.
Yeah.
Well, it stops.
It's a good
That's
example.
like a math rock riff.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Classic math
Yeah,
rock.
and all the tapping and the really twinkly, intricate, like clean riffs, you know, those are like, that's so stylistic of math rock.
Oh, this is interesting. This article about Polvo from 2008 is kind of like talking about like math rock is kind of like an offshoot of post rock, but like more technical. And it's sort of like, where do we draw the line between post rock and math rock? I feel like that's more clear now, but I mean, there's a lot of post rock. Like even this album is kind of like post rocky in a lot of places.
So late 1980s, early 1990s. So that makes a lot of sense. Like they're trying to describe math rock. And they're saying, oh, it's kind of like post rock where you're looking at like King Crimson. Or what are the other bands? Slint is also like a band that's referenced in post-rock cornerstones and math rock cornerstones.
Yeah.
Same with Tortoise.
Would you describe this album as progressive?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like progressive music kind of throws traditional song structures out of the window, and that's like one of the main like traits that you have to have about your music for it to be even considered progressive. And I think this is a good example of something that a band that throws traditional song structures out and opts for like a building, more layered structure versus like a chorus, because I don't think they ever really have like main themes that they go back to or anything like that. That they hook there's like no hooks or anything like that.
Yeah, no, there's no callbacks whatsoever.
Oh, as opposed to a
parts.
band like Piglet, where they have like melodies they'll call back to, and like very very melodic, and Piglet is a lot less progressive, you know, than a band like Don Cab.
Yeah, I think Piglet follows a more, I wouldn't say like a traditional song structure, but you can kind of be like, okay, intro, part 1, part 2, whatever. Don Cab is kind of like, I feel like Don Cab, this is like an album of like riffs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like riff after riff after riff.
And
there's no like,
and, yeah.
Yeah, there's no like, oh, this is like the first part of the song, this is the second part. It's just like it's a slow evolution every time.
Like, honestly, just right there when it stopped, if you like cut that and started a new song, it would sound like the same thing because it just transitions to a completely different like vibe, you know? Like it just stops and it's just another riff build, you know?
Yeah. And I think one of my criticisms of this album, and it's probably just because I didn't listen to it at like the beginning of my math rock journey, but I think one of the things that I don't like about this album is that I feel like the ideas never really like develop. Like Pretend, you have like the form will like fall apart and then they'll like start to like build something very slowly, and then it like eventually evolves into like the apex of the song, where it's like this is it.
Yeah.
This is like the moment the song was building towards.
Yeah.
I feel like Don Cab is just like, here's stuff, like here's riffs, and then like sometimes they'll be like, okay, we're done with that riff.
Yeah.
You know, it never feels like it like went somewhere.
There's no like, you know, like exposition, you know, conflict resolution. I feel like there's only like like tension and release. That's like what Don Cab does. It's like tension and release, tension and release. There's no like, there's not really a main narrative being built, you know?
Yeah.
Other than, I mean, can you look at bands like that are riff based like this, like Battles or Race to Your Face or Alpha Male Tea Party or Girlfriends, and say there's like a narrative being built? I guess Girlfriends is different because they have vocals, but
Yeah, they have vocals.
And that's very easy to establish.
Yeah. And I think the other thing,
I would say they're just doing, you know, they're building dissonance. There's like riff switches, but there's not really focus on transition, and like focus on general like resolution. I haven't heard a lot of resolution in any of these songs.
yeah. I wonder too, like a lot of albums I can like sort of call back and be like, oh yeah, this riff, and I can kind of like sing it or something.
Yeah.
I wonder like if there are like, I haven't really like heard any riffs from like, oh that's like I can like sing that
Right.
like dun, 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 you know?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I haven't heard any like really memorable, super memorable riffs.
I mean, there have been cool riffs.
There have been really memorable like drum riffs and parts for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like kind of missing that melodic component.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't heard much change from this riff yet. It's cool. I like the drumming and stuff. It's vibey.
Yeah.
I don't really...
I mean, yeah, I think it's about the drums.
Yeah, it really is all about the drums, kind of. I can respect that. I can respect a band that knows its niche and plays to its strength.
I mean, I have often wished that I've like played with drummers. I'm like I'm gonna like vibe and you like do a thing.
Yeah. It's like,
you know?
It's very hard to find somebody that's like that doesn't want to hone in on what you're doing, because obviously that's, you know, what everybody is expecting, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there is an expectation there to be like on it with, you know, the guitarist or bassist or something, but like, here's somebody that's a creative in their own mind and it's like, no, I'm gonna play this part and it's gonna sound good with you like layered on top of it. And that's somebody that's like really creative and, you know, is into the songwriting process. You can obviously hear also the very characteristic song titles, math rock song titles, you know.
Do you think that comes from like punk rock, like the weird naming thing? It's got to, right? Because like punk They used to do that in like punk. I think I don't really listen to a lot of punk, so. But I'm just kind of wondering where that like staple in math rock came from.
In punk, I don't know. They didn't. Ramones. Okay, yeah, yeah. The Ramones had like three-word song titles.
Maybe like the Misfits.
Yeah, I don't
Sorry,
know if
viewers,
anybody
you're
was
getting
naming
a.
their song like phrases back then.
I feel like underground punk bands were like not really big bands, like maybe like The Offspring or like I don't know a fucking thing about it.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like sometimes it's like a refusal to like play some like purposely making something weird or like off kilter. I don't know. That's what I've heard from people.
Oh yeah. Math rock definitely has a stereotypical like stereotype to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This riff is really interesting.
Yeah, it was a fun riff.
I like that chord melody here.
Yeah.
Okay. They leaned into it.
Yeah, this might be one of the few times where they like kind of build to a theme.
Yeah. This is already my favorite song.
What song is this?
Details on how to get Iceman on your license plate.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No wonder it's the most replayed.
Yeah, it's got the vibe.
Dude. You know what this reminds me of a lot now that I'm thinking about it? Do you remember that band, The Littlest Viking?
Oh, Littlest Viking. God.
Yes.
I haven't listened to that band. Fuck, I don't even know when.
They had a song
look them
called
up right
Theme
now.
from Magnum PI.
Yeah.
That album
God.
was very, very, very good and sounded a lot like what we just listened to there. It didn't sound like Don Cab, but what we just listened to there, it sounded a lot like.
Oh, they released an album in 2020.
Yeah, I think that's the album I have on vinyl, but they released a vinyl release recently that I have. It's really good.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, God, I haven't. Did we play with that band?
Shoot.
I think we did, didn't we?
I think they just played Vegas. Did we ever play with them? I'm not sure.
I thought we played with the Littlest
was
Viking.
it Tommy Boy? Was that the one?
We never played with them. I could have sworn we played with the Littlest Viking.
Huh. We might have.
I'm almost 90% sure we played with the Littlest Viking.
Huh. That might be how I know of them. Yeah, because I can't remember who showed me it.
I think we played with them, and then you were, yes. I think we played at Eagle Airy Hall. I think we played with the Littlest Viking.
That's hype.
Yeah, yeah.
while touring in support of American Dawn in November 2000. Tensions between Williams and Chi mounted, and fatigue took a toll on their members of Don Cab, and they decided to break up after the tour was completed. However, the band never made it to what would have been its final show in Detroit on November 21st, as its van hit a patch of ice on Interstate 75, spun out of control, and crashed into a semi-truck.
Damn.
Dude, that is brutal.
They're lucky they didn't fucking die.
Yeah. The entire tour was documented by musician Fred Weaver, opening act for the band, in his article, The Dark Final Days of Don Cab, for Chunklet magazine. We gotta read that fucking article.
Damn. Yeah, I don't see this band as one of those bands that's ever gonna get back together.
I'll definitely put this article in the description. Wow. It has each day. I'm looking through it, and pictures. That's so sick.
Let me pull that. I'm gonna pull that up.
Yeah, I found the part where he writes about the accident.
Huh.
Quoting from his article, slow motion, I see this car, a Buick sedan. Seeing means its existence is confirmed, and now I plot a trajectory roughly similar to the 18-wheeler's course around it. The right lane is open. I tap the brakes and watch as the speedometer instantly dials counterclockwise from 50 down to 35 before I take my foot off. I tap the brakes again, same response. This motion in the speedometer has nothing to do with slowing or stopping. I know this. The motion is only because the wheels have stopped spinning without affecting our forward velocity. Me, Don Cab, my van, have become but one of many objects sliding across an ice-covered roadway. And all the while I am guiding the van into the right lane, wary of turning too hard, wary of spinning out, willing that Buick just to move a little more to the left because I'm just not going to make it. This is brutal. We're on ice, damn it. Hold on, we're gonna hit this car. I calmly tell the others. They knew. I was merely confirming their thoughts. I wish I had a transcript of these 2 minutes because I believe that regardless of the setting, there's a style of dialogue common to the space between the realizations of trouble's imminence and its arrival. It goes on, but this article looks really, really good.
Yeah, we're gonna have to check that out.
All right, last song.
This song is good. I like this song.
Oh. They kind of have trouble getting to the point, you know? It's like, we get that there's a big drum build here, but it's like, come in with it, you know, already? You know, like, drop everything all at once or something, you know? Like,
yeah, I mean, that might be the point, too. It might be just like, I know what you think you want, but this isn't what you're going to get.
Playing with that. Yeah, exactly. They're really good at building that. It's true. It makes you want that resolution a lot. That's why I feel like I'm craving that resolution, is because they're really just building that tension. In 2021, an official Don Cab YouTube channel was created featuring new videos of Damon Chi playing drum covers of the band's discography. This coincided with Chi starting a GoFundMe to help pay for costs of digitizing all of Don Cab's master tapes, which he had been in possession of for more than 30 years. Wow. Before they started to degrade. Oh, I see.
How is that even 30 years?
Yeah, 1991, they released their first thing. So 2021, that would make sense, right?
Yeah.
1991 they formed and released 2 singles in 1992, but they might have recorded them, in 91.
Okay, that makes sense. Because this album came out in 2000,
Yes.
so this is probably...
I think that's their 4th, I believe.
Yeah, it's their last one. Oh yeah, so they go back to 93. That makes sense.
They have 2 after this one.
What?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Gang Banged with a Headache and Live. That's a good name.
Oh, the live albums. All right, so this is the last minute. How do we feel about the album? Give it a math rock score. How math rock is it?
Oh, math rock score? Fucking 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 for math rock.
Yeah, I would say it's
100% math rock. The band is fucking insane for thinking otherwise.
Yeah.
This is your position.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's like parts. I mean, really, there's not even parts that don't feel like math rock. It's just like the whole thing is just like math rock.
I see their point. I see how it is just kind of like rock with a loop pedal, The intricate, twinkly sections, the tapping. Now we're on the border. My math rock score, probably an 8.9. I can't give it a 9, but an 8.75, or an 8.9.
So what's a 10 to you? Just out of curiosity, what's a 10?
Probably Bulletproof Tiger's a 10, Floral's a 10.
Yeah.
We're talking. Ooh, I can't. That's a good question. What is through and through? Blood to bone, head to toe, math rock. I feel like the melodies that Standards does is very representative of like the happy math rock stuff, but that's just me.
Trees Swallows Houses.
Yeah, like through and through math rock.
Yeah,
for sure. That album. Well, yeah, that's American Dawn. Very sick. It's a great album. The most memorable part was that chord melody in the 7th song, Details on How to Get Iceman on Your License Plate.
Yeah.
Great song title. But
so what would you give just like a rating for that album, having listened to it for the first time? After a long time now.
Just a general rating for the album?
Yeah, like how much do you like it?
I remember why it didn't become a daily, listen, or like a regular listen in the regular rotation for me, is because it didn't have those melodies that I very deeply craved.
Like for me, it's like a 5 is like I am neither like interested or bothered by this. Like it's fine that it's on, but I'm not engaged. It's just like that's like the halfway point. Like 1 is just like the sound of like someone shitting.
Then on that, I'd probably do it like a 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
On that scale, yeah.
So you like
I'm
it more
interested
than you dislike it.
Yeah, I like it more than I dislike it. Yeah, I'd say that's fair. It's not something I would probably put in my daily rotation. But being a math rock fan, I definitely appreciate what was done on the album. I definitely feel very similar vibes and get very similar influences and kind of understand a lot more about other bands from just listening to this album. So that's really cool.
Right. I agree with you.
Oh, yeah.
I also gave it like a 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Liked it more. I didn't like it. Maybe I'll play it every like once in a blue moon. I think it would be good for just like,
But it's definitely math rock.
yeah.
For sure.
I think I could like study to or like read to it or like some like just like background noise.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely use those bands. Alarmist is a good one for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there it is. There's Don Cab.
Don Cab.
American.
You
Don.
asked for it.
You asked for it.
We gave it to it.
You shall receive.
Send in more suggestions.
Yeah, hit us up.
Do you want us to review?
Instagram. The Math Rock Review.
Yeah. Or YouTube. Either one. We accept it in both places.
Yeah.
Send us a DM.
We read
Leave
them
a comment.
comments.
You want to if you want us to review another album that we like skipped over or didn't talk about, or you just think we would like,
Yeah. You should
even
let us
your
know,
album,
like another Don Cab album we should listen to, or certain songs by Don Cab that might have more like memorable sort of, I don't know, not memorable, but in our wheelhouse of, in our preference, I should say.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah. And if you have an album and you want us to listen to it,
absolutely.
Link us. We'll put it up. Even if you think it's not math, we'll tell you if it is math rock.
We will review
or not.
We will give you
and if it's not math rock,
stamp of approval.
It's gonna sound like shit if it's not math rock. Fuck your album.
We're gonna fucking hate you.
You're gonna fucking hate your album.
We're gonna spit on our computer screens because we're so disgusted.
I'm gonna fucking edge to it because I can't goon to it.
I'm gonna beat my nasty little shit to it. That's how much I hate it.